There's still time left to back Crimson Wren. Go to shopclownfish.com. Also, check out the new Clownfish Studios pins. Very cool stuff. We just got it in. Help support the channel. Now on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And wouldn't you know, the mainstream media is a little slow, like they usually are.
Yes.
They're finally admitting, get this guys, they're finally admitting after years of denying it that the MCU is actually a thing.
Uh-huh.
Multiple articles coming out this week.
All at the same time.
All at the same time, as if on cue, that the MCU exists, that the future is female for Marvel. And just remember a couple of months ago, guys, there is no such thing as the MCU. You know, you're just a bunch of racists and bigots and misogynists and homophobes and haters, and you just don't like strong women and yada yada, and you're imagining things. There is no MCU, and now they're literally coming out and saying, yeah, there's an MCU, but it's a good thing.
You know what people want? People want characters that happen to be male, happen to be female, but they're good characters, and that there's and basically mixed cast. They don't want all women. They don't, like no more than they supposedly want all men. But I guarantee you, this is not going to go well.
No, this isn't going to go well, and it's interesting because a couple of days ago, Grace Randolph actually said, she's like, hey, I hate the term MCU, but she's like, it's getting really, really hard to deny that. I mean, it's so freaking obvious that Marvel is replacing all of their male heroes with female heroes.
They're the exact same character. They're like the same hero.
Basically, yeah, they're all like an understudy of, or a one-to-one replacement of, or just a gender-bent version of the Avengers. We're gonna talk about this because this is just so funny. I mean, this is like, I cannot believe that the media has been lying about this for the last 2 or 3 years now, and all of a sudden, as if on cue, there must have been some new programming downloaded. They're all like, oh yes, the MCU is real, but it's fine. It's fine, guys. It's okay. Don't believe the bigots on the YouTubes.
And then when it doesn't do well, because as a woman, even we don't want all the characters just one-to-one gender bent. And they're going to be like, it's because of misogyny. Misogyny is why Marvel's failing.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to go see it either. I'm a woman.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Almost 281,000 subs. 281 subs. Yeah, we lost a lot overnight. I don't know what happened. Yep, they're all bots. None of you guys are real. Sorry. No, thank you so much for the support. We do talk about Marvel. We talk about pop culture. We basically talk about whatever interests us that day. So this channel is kind of all over the place in terms of topics. But this is interesting because we haven't really gone hard in the paint on the MCU discussion, like MCU. We haven't really done that. But, the term has been thrown around for a couple of years now because it became very obvious looking at the schedule that pretty much every Avenger is going to be replaced, with a female counterpart, right? Would you put this? You put this.
Oh, I was joking. It was nothing to do with that. But yeah, I was saying we always talk about the Bechdel test, and the Bechdel test, for those who don't know, is you fail the Bechdel test if you have two women talking and they talk about a guy.
Yeah.
And of course, it's always been unfair because you can have two women talking about another girl and they can be lesbians, and that would fail too. But no, it's about only about men. So I just joked, I'm like, forget the Bechdel test, I'm instituting the geeky test. You can disregard any criticisms of fans if they bring up, and this is media, brings up men, toxic masculinity, and misogyny, because that's their excuse for every damn thing.
Yeah, and they already are doing that. So let's go out and read, the articles we're talking about here, and then go out to CBR because CBR is already making excuses for it. Of course they are. So this article, MCU full-on mode, every Avenger seems to have a female version now. It's a new era.
It's all because of that stupid tweet.
I don't.
It's all coming. Yeah, that's why they're all doing it, because someone put this tweet up, and that's
Heroic Hollywood put this up. Yeah. It's a new era, as fans note that basically every OG Avenger seems to have some sort of female version. What?
Nobody's mentioned this before. Oh my God.
Nobody.
One person put that on Twitter now, and now it's noteworthy, even though people like us have been mentioning it forever.
And we saw this coming years ago. Like, they're going to kill off, replace, belittle.
They tried it in the comics first, and it didn't go well.
Remember, 2015 to 2017 was a really bad time for Marvel Comics. In fact, it was so bad that mainstream media outlets were writing obituaries for Marvel Comics, and it led to the firing of Axel Alonso because they did this. They literally replaced every character with a stand-in. Now, it wasn't always a female version. It might just be like a younger race-bent version or,
Or a LGBTQ version.
Right. But they basically replaced all the main heroes with stand-ins. And it was like, it's Marvel now. And it went over as well as freaking Poochie from The Simpsons. And they had to walk a lot of it back. They had to have a big event where the classic heroes returned. But then when they returned, they had to drag him through the shit again, of course, especially Captain America, man, he can't catch a break. But so everybody seems to have a one-to-one female replacement.
Though, the She-Hulk, yes, but She-Hulk's been around for years. But, Black Widow was a woman.
Yes, well, they need to have a man.
That's the only thing that makes it fair.
Well, she ate the men, so.
But I'm just saying, like you brought up that you can take male characters and make them female. I can't take female characters and make them male.
Yeah, they should do that. They should be,
And and they have this one. Well, they have Agent Carter
yep.
He was a Captain Britain or whatever.
Yeah, so
that was in an alternate universe.
Yeah, and that kind of makes it. But I mean, they're not bringing up America Chavez, who kind of was a gender swapped Captain America-esque stand-in too.
Yeah, but the difference is, it's true. But I'm thinking Ms. Marvel has her own thing.
Yeah. But yeah, we had Jane Foster. We've got Ironheart, which they're gonna talk about that. She-Hulk. Kate Bishop, who I actually thought they handled pretty well in the show because she was insufferable in the comics, and I'm like, I'm not gonna. But I actually like the actress that plays her. She was in Bumblebee, and I thought she was pretty good, and so it was okay. But I mean, again, it's like, yeah, they had female versions in the comics, but I'm like, you've literally just gender bent the entire Avengers roster, and at some point, I think it's gonna bite them in the ass at the box office. Because it's like, I was talking before that they should have an Avengers team and call it the Replacements and just have all the replacement Avengers.
There you go.
Replacements assemble.
With a little female symbol afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, here we have to do the defense here. However, it's not a signal that OG Avengers fans can pound the alarm that their favorite heroes are going woke. As some fans pointed out, the lineup of new female characters is actually a compilation of different characters from various teams. Yeah, guys, you're making excuses. Look, hot takes, the Daily Beast. Black Panther Wakanda Forever sets up Marvel's future, and it's female.
Yes, because it went so well for Star Wars.
It went so well for Star Wars, right? So here we go. Let's talk about Riri Williams, who again is one of those insufferable comic book characters.
Our son kept watching it in the clip, and he's like, he's usually one that doesn't really get too upset about that kind of thing, about changing it. And he's even like, she's just annoying as heck. He's like, she's just annoying and obnoxious.
Yeah, so I mean, now you're basically replacing Tony Stark, and now
good luck with that one.
Good luck with that one. The entire MCU was built on Robert Downey Jr.'s performance as Iron Man. His lack of being there in the MCU, his presence is missed. It's very noticeable that he's not there. He needs to be there, I think, but replacing him again with a brand new, to this audience, to the movie audience, brand new character is going to be a gut punch, I think, for a lot of people. Now, I'm not saying Wakanda Forever is bad. I didn't watch Wakanda Forever, but I'm just saying long term, replacing every major character in the MCU is a terrible effing idea. But beyond,
it didn't work in the comics either.
It did not work in the comics. Right? It didn't work in the comics, but beyond that, they have been saying for years that the MCU wasn't a thing. It's not a thing, guys. There is no MCU, but maybe there should be. There should be an MCU.
No, okay, here's the kicker. I'm a woman. I don't want to see the MCU. I don't. I like that there's strong characters that happen to be female. I like the fact there's strong characters that happen to be male. But a lot of women go to see these movies because they actually like the male characters and the female characters, but they don't want them changed any more than men do.
No, because a lot of times women, predominantly who are predominantly straight, let's be honest, right? They like the eye candy.
They
like,
do.
You know?
No more than when a man ogles a woman, it's how dare you. But yeah, it's true. But women like the characters too. Like I like some of the characters that were men. I don't want to see female versions of them. And the thing is, what'll happen is it'll be men who will tell me that I'm not a woman enough. I'm not feminist enough, that I have to love this because they're women and I'm a woman, and I can't relate to characters outside of my own gender.
Yeah, this is so CBR chimes in too. Again, we're talking
shocker.
all these articles
In
discussing, in lockstep, the MCU is real. Finally, after denying it for years, the MCU is real. And immediately, the very first paragraph, whether it's the preemptive review bombing of She-Hulk or the numerous angry YouTube videos condemning female superheroes, no, they're condemning poorly written superheroes, male or female.
Yeah.
Anyway, the franchise's focus on women has even gotten it dubbed derisively as the MCU. What these takes miss, though, is that the MCU has always featured powerful female characters.
Yeah, well, that's what we've been saying. That's what makes me mad. It's like, that's like Kevin Smith saying, well, Tila was always important to He-Man, which we kept mentioning. It's like they're acting like the fans didn't already know that. The fans knew that. They just don't like your versions of these characters.
Yeah, so this is going to be, now they're playing defense. Like, well, the female-led movies always do as well as, and I'm
No,
sure,
they don't.
So now they're making a contest between male-led movies and female-led movies.
I like the ones where there's a mixed cast, Why can't you just do that?
Yeah, that would have been nice, right? I mean, here's the thing. When you replace characters, when you replace superheroes, and they've always done this in the comics. Like, I mean, going back to the 60s and 70s, they've swapped out characters, Marvel characters here and there. But they've never really switched everybody out at once. And that was the big mistake they made in 2015, was they decided they were going to switch everybody out at once.
Go down here.
Okay.
The 8 female-led properties so far. Now, remember, these are supposed to be doing better as well as male. Agent Carter, which was for TV. Jessica Jones, which was Netflix and wasn't even Disney. Captain Marvel. Agent Carter wasn't Disney either, I don't think, was it? Captain Marvel, which... that's up for debate. Eternals, which bombed. Black Widow, which didn't do that great. WandaVision, which did okay because it was the first show. Yeah. Ms. Marvel, which did not do well.
Yep. And
She-Hulk, which also didn't do that great. That's their example?
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing. Then they're trying to be like, hey, the first 8 male-led movies, some of them didn't do as well either. But I'm like, yeah, but they build up. What's going on, though, is Marvel, the MCU, has been a buildup over the last decade plus, and now because of them switch, I believe a big component of it is switching these iconic characters out for stand-ins, male or female, doesn't matter, they're still stand-ins. It's declining rapidly.
Well, that people are just tired of it.
They're tired of it.
They had a connection with the original characters.
Yep.
Now you're changing them, and they're like, well, I don't want to. No, I'm tired. I don't want to do it.
It's kind of like when you watch a TV show and they inexplicably switch out main characters, and they always bring in a character like the character that left, kind of, sort of, but not quite. One of the most ridiculous examples. I'm a huge fan of Northern Exposure. Love Northern Exposure, right? But the show was literally about Joel Fleischman. Dr. Joel. For those of you who don't know the show, it's New York doctor goes to Alaska. Hilarity ensues. It's a good show. You should watch it. Anyway, the show is literally about him and filtering this quirky Alaskan town through his New York sensibilities. And he left the show and they brought in another doctor. But it doesn't work because it wasn't about just a doctor in Alaska.
A lot of shows do that, and then they just die.
They died.
Well,
yeah.
They're like, nobody claimed that Hulk or Thor are flawed because their leads are male. No, they just were shitty movies.
They weren't very good.
I mean, especially
Thor was good.
Thor 2, I was thinking.
Oh, Thor 2 was terrible.
But Dark World was not good. The Hulk movies were not good, and no one said that. No one said it was because they were male, because it was just a given. The problem with, and then they're saying because of She-Hulk and Captain Marvel. The problem is, you guys are like, your logic is flawed, because you're basically like, you're the ones out there saying people hate the characters because they're female. That's you guys saying that. They're flawed. But the problem is when you have these characters, when you're a woman, somehow you're just basically a male. If talking about character is a male character, just with tits. And She-Hulk wasn't as likable as she was in the comic.
No.
And Captain Marvel might have been good if you hadn't had Brie Larson cast as Captain Marvel. She just was wooden and wasn't good. And she was like a side character in her own movie.
Yeah, it's interesting. They have Charlize Theron, isn't she, in Doctor Strange? She actually would have made a better Captain Marvel, I think, than, but whatever.
But their argument, who wrote this? A woman. Oh, please, for fuck's sake. I'm so tired of this. And of me saying this, you're just internalized misogyny.
So, speaking of which, right? So this is the Daily Beast, too. And this was just a couple of months ago. Marvel's treating its female heroes like garbage. This one was from a couple of years ago. Captain Marvel and Marvel's long history of woman problems. And
they're all written. These were written by women trying to be like, we're just mad because those are our heroes, Slay Queen. And it's like, but they were shitty characters. I'm sorry. Movies didn't do well because they weren't very good.
So let the defense begin. We're going to see a decline in the MCU because people had a connection, like you said, to those characters, regardless of whether or not they're male or female. People had a connection to those characters. People were connected to Natasha as, the Black Widow, and you can't just like bring her sister in and be like, oh, it's another Black Widow.
Yeah.
It's like, what the frick is going on here? And we're going to see a drop off for sure. Now,
we're going to see a drop off for multiple reasons, but that's not going to help.
No, this definitely does not help. So the rumor is they're supposed to be building the Secret Wars, which might actually have like everybody come back. But I think at that point, people are going to like, who gives a shit?
Well, they're talking about this isn't until like 2025 either. I mean,
2026.
2026. Okay, well, I knew it was something like that.
So we're talking 4 years.
Nobody's going to care. I mean, it's like, people are just already burnt out. Just stop.
Stop it. Just stop it. Stop. Whatever you're doing right now, stop it. Maybe Bob Chapek will stop it. Be like, what are we doing, guys? We
Because
gotta
we're
make
spending
money.
too much money.
Yeah, is it cheaper for us to just throw a whole bunch of money at Robert Downey Jr. to come back and try to fix this thing? I mean, it might be. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.